Yeah. What do you think? It's out of curiosity, because I know you're very into the whole innovative space. What do you think people, because I know a lot of people have trouble with trying to market to the right clients and make it more for them, but sometimes they don't know how to actually market to them or how to actually promote to them. Like, what do you think would be the right tools or things that people can do to market to those people? Like, let's say they have a product of some kind or a service. What do you think would be the right thing for them to do as a business owner?
So market research is key. So there are companies out there who have a product, have a service, they've planned it out themselves. It's something that they need, uh, a product that they know is going to sell. They know so many people want it, but they haven't done the full on research to really see how that would translate into real dollars and cents when it comes to people buying that product. So preliminary research, as in literally just talking to friends, talking to family, going on LinkedIn, going on to Reddit, different places like that, and going out onto those platforms and kind of like a teaser out there. I've got this great new product coming up. There's this service. Who's interested in it? Now that's pretty blunt in regards to that. It has to be more savvy than that, but there's been case studies out there where a company, for example, they needed a spokesperson, a model for a specific product, but they were having a really hard time internally figuring out what specific gender, not gender. Well, they knew the gender had to be female,
Yeah.
but what look and feel and style that person had to be. Was it a celebrity? Was it a not an athlete? Whoever, and they didn't want to spend a ton of money going through the whole process of packaging and marketing and branding with one person to find out that it flopped. So they, in a bit of a sneaky way, they did some test mock-ups of products using a variety of these different people's faces and stuff like that. And they just sent it out there. They did like this mock ad campaign
Yeah.
and they got immediate feedback. They knew that everybody loved Model A, nobody cared for Model B. And without even having to hire that person, they tested the waters and they found Model A. That was the one to go with. Perfect. So this kind of thing can benefit a company where they say they already have an existing company and things are going okay, but not fantastic. And they're thinking, let's introduce new products. Okay. Well, before we just jump on it and go and throw a product out there, what if we really talk to our customers, the people who
Mm.
are really happy with our product right now, get some dialogue going. Are you interested? We're thinking of doing this. I know it's not us. It's not really what you expect from us, but we're thinking of it. What would you think? Would you buy something like that? Cost you nothing. And it saves you potentially millions of dollars in the end.
Yeah. I find it interesting too, because one of the things that people do, they just kind of try things and then they don't really look at what they're doing wrong. They just
Mhm.
kind of like to try and experiment on different things. They never really ask the question of what's interesting to you, or
Mhm.
what do you like? What don't you like? What style is better? What suits fits in a different audience? I think, I
Yeah.
know you're really good at branding and like getting that brand sort of known and like having that niche really, fit perfectly with something,
Mhm.
and for you, I guess, like, as a creative director and as a, entrepreneur for the most part,
Yeah.
what do you find in terms of branding? What do you think, how should people interpret, or how should people really get into getting themselves more of a brand and more like in a specific niche, if that makes sense?
Right. Okay. The thing that's interesting with branding, people automatically associate branding, my logo. Okay, my
Mm,
fonts, my colors. Okay, well, that totally is, it's all merged into it all. But there's a lot more than that. So when it comes to, um, let's go back to Apple as a great example.
yeah.
It doesn't take more than a split second to know you're holding an Apple product to see an Apple advertisement because their brand is so well thought out from the smallest little nuance, the smallest little detail to the big deals, the brand new releases of new products and how they even convey that. So when I talk to our clients, when I say your branding, this is more than just your logo, more than the sign on the door. This is the way you are conveying yourself to your customers. What is your customer service like? How are they speaking to people? People want to associate company X with unbelievable service and quality, and everything that they've ever touched or experienced from that brand is reflected in it consistently, cohesively, all the way through. So companies need to really think in broad terms of what their brand is. Even the uniforms, the colors of the clothing that the people are wearing, how are the trucks done? All of these things are very important, and they shouldn't be a mismatch of one idea thrown mixed with this idea and this idea. There has to be consistency clear across the board. And if you are going to innovate and you are going to change a brand look and feel, you can do it in a way of two ways. You can do it so it's like a brand new reveal. Business is going on as usual, but behind the scenes, all of this collective work is being done to create a fresh new brand, and all the details have been figured out so that you can announce, and this actually acts as a new marketing leverage point where you can say, listen, we've been doing this for all these years, and now we're doing this, the big reveal. So you get this buzz happening, this big excitement happening, and you're not going to shock your customers where it's like, I'm not familiar with that anymore. I don't understand. Why did you do that? So it gives you a whole new venue to advertise on top of your advertising.
Yeah. That's so cool. It's like, it's such a really fascinating thing to me, like how, all these things, like you kind of need all these components and things just to make things work. It's such a really cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And how creative and how like you really have to just really know your space a bit to kind of really branch and like change certain things so it's more approachable. So it's kind of
That's
really
right.
interesting to me.
That's right.
Yeah. What do